Hello, my name's Claire. This is my video on how we hiked the Cape to Cape in 7 days. This video is not so much about kind of what we packed, but kind of how we got to the start and finish and how we paced it all out. So the Cape to Cape track is 130 kilometers and you can do it kind of roughly between 5 to 7 days is what most people do it in, depending on what kind of trip that you want. It's a really great hike in that you can stay off track in camp towns. There's enough road access that you can get picked up and dropped off at accommodation every night, or you can stay on track at the campsites, and that's what we chose to do. So this is day one from Cape Naturalist to Mount Duckworth. We left our car in Augusta and had a transfer company drive us from Augusta to Cape Naturalist, which is about an hour and a half. And we arrived for 12:30 start. I think it was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon by the time we started. And the first day is really good. It's only about 11 kilometers, which makes that if you have to commute to the start of the track, whether that's from Augusta or Dunsborough or Perth, if you're coming from Perth even, you can drive down in the morning and then be there for midday and start and have a nice short day to Mount Duckworth, which is why doing it over 7 days is great as well. This is day two. So day two, you're going from Mount Duckworth to Moses Rock Campground, which is 23 kilometers, and you're going to go through Yallingup. And one thing that I would change about our trip is that I wouldn't stop in Yallingup for breakfast, because it's only about 3 kilometers from the campsite, meaning you've still got another 20 kilometers to do in the rest of the day. And although this was lovely, and it's great to stop off track during a hike and have a luxurious breakfast. That's the Smith Beach crossing you're seeing there. Yeah, as much as lovely as that was, I wish we had just got like a croissant or a toasted sandwich or something and just gone on for the rest of the day, because this day was so beautiful. But I feel like we were kind of always looking at how far we had to go to finish that day, knowing that we had so far to go. You're going to cross Smiths Beach, Canal Rocks, Ingelup Spa, that's Quinninup Falls. So again, amazing scenery. And you can see from the blue skies, although this is July, which is winter here in Western Australia, we had these blue skies days for the entire trip. And since we got off the track about 5 or 6 weeks ago, it has just bucketed down full torrential winter style. So we were really lucky. The next day you're going from Moses Rock all the way to Ellensbrook, which was just another beautiful day. This is Wilbrunup Beach and Wilbrunup Crossing, which is a tricky crossing after all the rain we've had. It's now at like knee to waist deep, so that crossing is one that you have to be aware of. Either doing a diversion or crossing another way, but again, we did it at the perfect time. We just skipped across some rocks. I like this day so much because from the campsite to Gracetown, it's only 11 kilometers and beautiful scenery, which I did not even get to film that much of, which will keep some excitement there if you're planning on doing this trip. Only 11 kilometers to Gracetown, where we stopped for lunch at Gracie's and had the best toasted sandwich I think I've ever had in my life. And then after lunch, which by the way, lunch, I think this was about 10 o'clock in the morning after leaving at dawn, it's only 8 kilometers to Ellensbrook. So we were at Ellensbrook at about, I think 1:30 in the afternoon, which meant we had the afternoon to just kick back and relax in what was, day 3. And Ellensbrook was also my favourite campsite. So out of all the campsites, I'm glad we had the most time there. It was just, big, open, wide spaced campsite that was really beautiful. And this is the only night we had some rain overnight. That's us waking up in the middle of the night to the rain and checking no water was getting in. That was the only time. The next day was Ellensbrook to Prevelly. So we stopped in Prevelly for one night, and you could easily make this 7 day into 6 day by skipping Prevelly. We chose to stop in Prevelly because 1, we had the time, and 2, we wanted to have a holiday as well as a hike. So we weren't out there to, kill ourselves doing it in a short amount of time. Here you can see the Margaret River Rivermouth sandbar, and what is amazing is that the day after this was filmed, the very next day, that Rivermouth broke through the sandbar to the sea, which it does every season, and then you cannot cross there depending on how wet you want to get. You have to take a diversion, which is about 1.6 kilometers, but we really wanted to do that crossing just because it's the famous Margaret River Rivermouth crossing. And look at that, that's the day before the water broke through, and we're so glad that we were able to go that way. So that night we stayed in Preveley at Surf Point Resort, and these guys really know how to look after hikers. I just couldn't recommend them enough for somewhere to stay. And then the next night we popped over the road to dinner. So stopping on a hike for pizza and nachos is just pure luxury on a hike. The next day you're going to be going from Preveley to Conto Campground, which is day 5, and that's about 16.9. Now, we very clearly did not go on from Conto for about 8 more kilometers and camp off track. That is not what we did. That's not what you should do. But that would certainly make the next day shorter if you're going to do that. Coming out of Preveley, you go down into this gully and you have this beautiful rainforest type scenery where the river goes through. Another stunning spot that you can also do. A lot of these you can do on day hikes because they're all so close to track towns and so close to road access that you can do these on day hikes as well. Another river crossing, but this one's not on the map, so I can't tell you exactly what it is. This is Bob's Hollow. And then after Bob's Hollow, you kind of traverse these limestone cliffs until you get to Conto Campground. You see some caves and great views out over the limestone cliffs out to the sea. Also, this area, you're going to go through Boyanup Forest, which was burnt about 7 months before we did this hike, and so it's only just starting to grow back now. So this is already the next day. I didn't film our campsite that night, so you're going to go from Conto to Hamelin Bay, which is 20 kilometers just from Conto to Hamelin. Most of that is beach walking, and then after Hamelin you've got another 9k. So that's a really long day. It's 29 kilometers and a lot of it is beach walking. From here on, we were walking on the beach. And there was so much beach walking that I didn't even film it because it was more about putting one foot in front of the other and getting to Hamelin Bay. That's Hamelin Island behind me there. We've passed Hamelin Bay now. Again, it was such a long day, I didn't really do much filming. Hamelin Bay is where you can see the famous stingrays. They come into the bay there. That's what Hamelin Bay is famous for. Those are blowholes up from the beach, up from the water, which was beautiful. And here in the distance, you can actually see Cape Lewin. So being day 6 out of day 7, you can see the lighthouse at the end of this day. So you've got that to look forward to. And this campground, Deep Dean, is just off the beach. So that little marker there is pointing up to the campground off the beach. And I was most thankful to get in that day to Deep Dean, which was my least favourite campsite. It's just really small. There just wasn't much to it, that's all. And there's the inside of our tent, which I've shown you for the first time. And this is the last day, Deep Dean to Augusta, about 15.5k. And the whole way you can see the lighthouse. So this little flash here that you see just there, and again in the next shot I think, yep, that little flash, that is the lighthouse there. So having that sight of the lighthouse definitely makes that last day, you can see where you're going. And usually that makes the day slow down for me. When you can see like, oh, there's the end, there's the end, there's the end. It makes it feel really slow. But because I was enjoying the hike so much and because I didn't want it to finish, all the days just flew by. They just went by so quickly because it's such an enjoyable hike. And there we are, almost at the end. The lighthouse looks like that because they were doing renovations on it when we were there. So that's scaffolding around the lighthouse. That's why it doesn't particularly look like a lighthouse. But there you have it. That's the end there's the end doing the restoration. They were so sweet when we got there. This gentleman said, "Oh, I'll pull out a model for you." And I didn't know what he meant, but then when we got back to the visitors centre, there was a model of the lighthouse which we could take a photo of or take a photo with. So that's how we did it. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. Hope you liked it. Bye.